Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Sunday morning, and I hope everybody is finding peace in today and finding some light in their life. Despite uh, somebody that was very dear to our community and dear to a lot of hearts, and a good friend of mine passing. So there's been a lot of negative energy and just death always brings darkness to people's life, and it's the darkest place as a human that you can find yourself. And I I was reluctant to make a video talking about death because it is such a touchy subject and such a subject that makes people uncomfortable. But part of my mission is to talk about those things that make people uncomfortable and to shine light on those things that make people uncomfortable in the darkness. And to shine my light is just to speak on it and speak from my experience. I'm no expert at anything, but I have quite a bit of life experience. And with death, death to me it shook me. It When my father died, it was what rock bottom for me. And so I want to speak from my experience of pain of death and dealing with death of a loved one that's really close. I had two grandmothers both pass when I was a bit younger, and that's kind of the natural order of things that we grow to expect. In our lifetime, we grandparents and then parents and then it's just kind of the natural order that we tie into death. But when it happens out of that order, it seems that much harder for us to grasp. And Roy, man, I love you so much. I couldn't imagine that feeling that you're experiencing, brother. And I love you, and I hope that you find strength, and if you need help finding it, I'll be right by your side, brother. I couldn't imagine. It's not the natural order to have to bury a child, and especially somebody that, you know, as we grow older, you start to develop your own life and you have your own kids, and you kind of not disconnect, but there becomes a distance between you and your parents. And Roy always maintained that closeness with Ryan, and they were best friends. So Roy, my heart goes out to you, brother, and I'll always be here for you if you need it. But it is important, as humans, when we experience death, we run from the feelings. We try to make sense of it in in the wrong ways, and we try to. For me, my experience, I tried to hide from it, and I tried to just keep putting band-aids on the wound and just keep putting band-aids on there. After my dad died, I drank for every day for a month solid. And it wasn't until my girlfriend at the time, and now my fiance that I'm going to spend my life with, that walked me through my darkness, called me out after that month of solid drinking, and said, there comes a time where you're mourning, and I will give you the space to mourn how you see fit. And if you see fit as drinking, which she knew was unhealthy, but she was giving me that space. But she saw me just using my father's death as an excuse to continue down the destructive path. And I'm so grateful for her, because when she called me out on that, it was a really big wake up call that, just because dad was gone, that is not the path that dad would have wanted me to take into a downward spiral, rather than take the lessons from his death and move forward. And when you're in the dark, it's so hard to find those lessons, because it's hard to see. You don't understand, you don't get it, you question God, you damn God, like, why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to our family? Why would you take him? He was so young. Ryan was young. He was 32 years old. My dad was young. He was fucking 50. He just retired. It's so hard in the human mind and the ego to make sense of death and why it is. But when you connect with your soul and you start to understand the meaning of being human and start to really put your faith in God, even in your darkest hours, He will show you the answers. And I saw it put such a beautiful way the other day. But you know, praying is you speaking to God. And what I have come to realize is that we speak to God and we ask for all these answers and ask for all these questions, but we aren't patient enough to let Him have His voice, and we never sit still enough to hear God's response to our answers and our prayers. And the saying was that praying is talking to God, meditating is listening. So you I hate labels, because when people think meditate, they automatically assume that you have to sit cross-legged and with your fingers fucking, but meditating to me is just being still with yourself and listening to your thoughts and God and the divine answering you. We distract ourselves and we don't allow ourselves to feel properly. We want to be angry because we don't understand, but it's important that you forgive yourself for the missed times that you had with the person that passed, or things that you wish you would have done, or that you could have done or should have done, or things you wish they would have done. None of that really serves us, and it doesn't bring them back. And it just creates such a darker feeling around you when you start to play the what if games or the shoulda, woulda, coulda games, because at the end of the day, they've still transitioned out of this physical world, and those thoughts don't serve us. They only kind of help the downward spiral excel. So I hope that you can find peace with the death that you may experience in your life. And I hope that you can sit back and pray to God and ask for those answers. I'm not saying you shouldn't ask for the answers of why, or whatever the questions you have. Ask God, but have faith and patience enough for Him to respond to you, because He will. And through my dad's passing, it is really took me from the human mindset and the ego experience of death, and thinking that it's happening to you. Instead, I've really found my soul being and my soul meaning that things happen for you. And I know in the dark times that that's fucking impossible to see. I'm not saying that you should see that right now, but I pray that eventually you will, in the hard times that follow a death. You all you can do is really take the lessons and heed the lessons and cherish the beautiful moments that you had. That is really, and allowing yourself to feel emotions and getting them out. It's when you close down and you feel so hurt that you just don't want to let anybody else in because you fear that hurt. It's just closing the hurt in already, and that's already there, and it blocks that flow of natural divine energy that you have the right to and that you deserve. So count your blessings. Be gentle on yourself. No what ifs, no should've, no could'ves. Be sad for yourself. Be sad for the loved ones around you. Be sad for all of people going through the experience, and experience that emotion, and then move forward. When when you sit still with yourself, if you are dwelling or you are just feeling. And it's hard not to dwell, but that's where loved ones and compassionate people come in and hold you accountable, such as Brittany did me, and telling me I was just drinking to For I was just drinking as an excuse to hide from my true emotions. So stay true to yourself and be gentle on yourself, and be gentle on God, because when you lose faith in God, it's hard to find that light, because God is that light and God provides that light. So I love all of you, Roy. My heart's with you, brother. I'm sending you strength and love, and everybody affected by this, please. If you need a voice to vent to or a shoulder to cry on, I'll be there for you, and I will do my best to help you find your light again. So I love you guys. Human life is crazy sometimes, but all we can do is move forward. And that's what our loved ones that pass over would want us to do. They want us to be happy. They want us to love. They want us to be open. So that's what we should try to do for them. Try our best and have faith in God. I love you guys. Happy Sunday. I hope that you are surrounded by loved ones today, and you hold them tight, because life's too short to hold grudges. It's just holding you back. I love you guys.